Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Loot Drop Podcast. My name is Total Sumbro. I'm joined with my co host, the infamous Rathagen. We're going to start out by talking about the games we've been playing this week. And I guess leading us off, it comes to absolutely no one's surprise that I've been playing a ton of Final Fantasy XIV. This week I dug into the PvP Wrath, and it's a lot more. I had a lot more fun playing it the second time than I played it the first time. Like you know Croxon, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah. So the first time I played PvP, I went in blind and played with him, and it was like,
that was a
and
terrible idea.
it was an okay. He's very good at it, right? And so my first time, I'm like, because the way they balance PvP in that game is they normalize everyone to level 30. Okay, like gear, stats, everything is normalized to level 30, and then you have a specific set of actions or hotbars that are specific for PvP. So they are your actions from the base game, but it's standardized so that some of the game breaking things aren't in there, if that makes sense. Like for the
Yeah,
purposes of balance. So
right.
you have your kit and you go in, and the game mode I was playing, it's like basically you go in, you capture territories, and then you get kills. And the first team to 1,600 points wins the match. Now, it's a really, really good place to grind experience. So, like, I was getting like over 500,000 experience per game, like at my level, because it scales. You get 1/10 of a level every game you play. And the cosmetics from it, which is like the point of running it, are pretty nice with it. I've completed 2 sets so far, so I have 2 other sets to get still. But I've been having a ton of fun with that, and I finished up Heavensward, the first expansion, and now I'm into Stormblood, which is the second expansion for the game, and I'm just kind of picking my way through the story and grinding my way up.
So, what's your favorite aspects of the PvP in that game, and what do you think sets it apart from other games like WoW and Guild Wars in the past and other games that have been known for their PvP elements too?
So I can't speak to Guild Wars. I never messed with the PvP there. Um,
It was so good.
and with WoW, like PvP nowadays in WoW is different than what PvP used to be, and that could be me like when I came back to the game, like not knowing the UI and like maybe just not knowing how to access what I was looking for. But when I used to play PvP, right, I would go into the, I think they were called battlegrounds or something of that nature, and the Arathi Basin was like the super famous one, and you basically had two teams on opposite sides of the map, and they would work their way in, killing PvE enemies, locking down bases, capturing those bases, and advancing forward. And it was almost like reverse tug of war. Like your goal was to completely overtake the battlefield and ultimately take the enemy's base, right? So you could have some games that would go on for a long time because both sides were just inching back and forth, right? Um, this is different in that it's not linear. Like the Arathi Basin and that kind of stuff that I played in World of Warcraft was very linear. It was like a straight shot up the map, like get to the end of the rope. Every map that I've played in Final Fantasy is typically a circular map, and it's not one side against another. It's three teams. So it's three teams of 24 players, 72 players in total, absolutely going at it. And I mean, it can lead to some really dynamic gameplay. Like there will be a lot of like team play where say you're going to overtake the red team, right? Say you're blue and you're going to overtake the red team. There's nothing stopping that yellow team from looping long around the entire map and pinching you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And rolling over.
So it sounds to me kind of like a bite-sized concept of what ESO had going on with its MMO. I don't know how much ESO changed from launch, but I played it at launch, and if you remember, it had Cyrodiil basically triangled off. Yeah, I've got the map actually
Mm-hmm.
literally above my desk because I got it framed years ago when I got that game.
That's awesome.
But it had like Aldmeri Dominion at the bottom, Ebonheart Pact at the upper right, and then Daggerfall Covenant in the upper left. So like it was constantly like a three-way fight everywhere you went. Although it was less structured, because it sounds like what you're talking about is more of an arenas type situation, where this
That-
was like open PvP. But it does sound, similar in a way, in that
It
they've got
definitely
it
is an
in like
arena.
a three-way
It
type
100%
situation.
is an arena. Like you queue for it and it loads you into whatever the map. And the map changes daily. So it's
Yeah.
not a whole lot of different map. Well, I don't know how many different maps there are, but there's a different PvP map every day. And like when you go to queue into that playlist, like that's the map you'll play that day. So I have some I like a little bit more than others, but I was having fun doing it, and that's definitely something. Like if I get tired of like story grinding, like if I grind a bunch of story one day and I'm like, I want to take a little bit of a break from this and go do something else. Like I still have my crafting jobs that I need to level up because I literally barely touched those. I think my highest level
Right.
crafting job is like 22 right now,
Right.
out of 80. And then I've got the PvP, and then also just cosmetic grinding, right? Like you go through the game and there's the different mounts and the different stuff like that you can get, and there's challenges for. But I've been super happy with it, and I've been super happy with how they're performing on YouTube. Like I've been making like little 5 minute guides like I talked about before for some of the harder fights. Just they're meant to be like bike sized mechanic breakdowns where like if you're like I don't know what's going on in this fight, you can tune into the video and you can be like, what's going on? And in like 2 to 2.5 minutes, I give you a breakdown of every mechanic that's going on in the fight so that you can then go in and do it successfully. Right? Like it's not like my guide isn't like a foolproof way. It doesn't hold your hand or anything like that. It's straight information. This is what this fight is. But those have been doing really well. What have what have you been playing? You're muted.
Sorry, I didn't realize it was muted. I've been playing a lot of Hunt Showdown. I had a clip that popped off really, really big since our last podcast. I don't think
Is
it
it your
popped off
rage
by the
clip?
time. It was my rage clip. It's got like almost 1,000 views right now,
Oh, did you put it
which
on
is
TikTok or something?
no. I put it on YouTube Shorts.
Oh,
Put it on YouTube Shorts. Then I went and put it on Instagram Reels, and it's got over 3,000 views.
oh, wow! Go on.
So yeah, the next biggest success I've had to that recently was I uploaded honestly like not even a very good clip, just somebody had clipped it. I was kind of lazy and just uploading stuff to Streamladder, which I don't know if you've used Streamladder at all. And for any content creators that may be listening, Streamladder is super useful. It's a free tool. It helps you get that 9:16 ratio that you need to go on TikTok, where a lot of times you'll see streamers with their webcams
That's through
at the
Streamlabs, isn't it?
at, I don't know if it's through Streamlabs, but there's a website called Streamladder. You could upload your clips there. You could tell it where your webcam is. You could tell it where your central gameplay is, and then it will format it for you based on a template that you select. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. There's no like watermarks or anything with it. It's super useful.
That's all. I'm gonna have
So,
to check that out.
yeah, you could pay to unlock additional templates and like some other features, but I mean, literally the free version is most of what anybody needs. But I had a clip of me exercising a ghost in Ghost Hunter Core. That's at almost 600 views now. But anyway, that hunt clip really, really popped off. So it inspired me to play hunt some more, to generate some hunt content, to kind of explore that avenue, to see. I don't really see any content creators for hunt that are like blowing me away with the content that they're producing.
Well, it's such a slow game. Like it's very very methodical, and
Mm-hmm.
so I think with those kinds of games, it's hard to bring high energy to those kinds of games, right? Because if you're like amped constantly,
Yeah.
you're probably gonna make a mistake in the game. Honestly,
Right.
you know what I mean. You're gonna take a shot that you shouldn't have taken. You're gonna like give away your position. Someone's gonna collapse on you. You're gonna like you so much stuff in that game gives away your position. Like you if you
Yeah.
listen to that game, you can almost hear where enemies are, right? Like you can hear
Yeah.
like a murder of crows flying up, or like the horses that are like laying on the ground. They'll start like neighing I don't. What sound do horses make? Neighing?
They yeah they neigh.
Braying?
Yeah.
Braying is donkeys.
Um. Yeah. I used to have that little wheel when I was a kid that told me what sound each animal made, and I'm pretty sure horses neigh. So
Okay.
I'm not sure what you had when you were a kid, but
Well, no, no,
yeah.
no. So the sound isn't like but do they neigh? Is that the verb?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I'm
That's fair.
I'm not an expert. But yeah, to me, Hunt Showdown is a lot about audio cues. The game is very, very punishing if you miss a shot. So you have to use those audio cues, especially if you're close to other players, to estimate their location and know when you're going to need to shoot. Because if you miss a shot and they have a shot on you at that point, there's any good Hunt player is probably going to put you down. So you have
Well,
to
it's
really
it's
be
pretty punishing, isn't it? Like a headshot will like that's it.
I don't think any headshot is an instant kill, but the way the health system works is you start with like 5 health chunks, and the chunks are broken up into various sizes. So you got like small and large health chunks. So if you get knocked or if you catch on fire and you allow a health chunk to burn away,
Mm-hmm.
or like I said, if you get knocked, you automatically lose one.
Mm-hmm.
It will turn into a situation where now you're operating on 80% health, and that's all you can get back.
Is there any way to
Now,
recover that?
I believe if you actually pick up a bounty token, you will generate a chunk back. I'm not 100% sure on that. I may be making that up completely, but I'm pretty sure that's the only way to get those chunks back. Otherwise, I believe you can also buy them back in the main menu if your hunter survives the round.
Oh, like you
But if
can.
you're,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, like the Caldwell Uppercut Revolver, which is what I like to use a lot, I think it does like 149 damage. Players have 150 health. So if they're operating on anything less than full, a headshot is going to put them down right on the spot. Now, with that being said, um, the other gun that I use is a Mosin. Not sure what the damage is on that, but Mosin's been in many, many games, been in many Call of Duty games. I know I've seen the Metal Gear Solid, etc. It's a
That's
very,
a bolt
very
action rifle, isn't it?
yeah,
It's like a
yeah. It's a
marksman's rifle.
yeah, yeah, like old reliable. So all the guns in Hunt Showdown are from the 1800s. So I mean, you could be literally using a breech firearm, single shot, and that's what you've got
Well,
for the round.
it'd be a little broken if you were running through with an MP5.
Well, yeah, but
I hear them over there. Just a blanket of bullets on the hillside.
yeah, yeah, I agree, but it does take some getting used to because the thing about running around with an MP5, right? Naturally, on a mouse, at least every mouse I've ever used, if you click, that mouse is going to move, right? Is that fair
Hmm.
to say?
Yeah.
So even if it's ever so slightly, so with an automatic weapon, you could continue to hold that mouse button down and adjust your aim from there. So at that point, you're not clicking anymore. You're firing on automatic, probably, etc. Right? With a single fire breech loading firearm, okay, if you're aiming at the head and you've got any sort of like sensitivity at all to where you startle yourself when you see a player and you're trying to aim, you're gonna miss. And not only you're gonna miss, but you basically got to ram the bullet down the
Yeah.
barrel
You got
like
like another
like
minute before you can fire.
yeah. Like I mean, it's like 1700s era weaponry is what it feels like. It's not. It's more modern than that. It's 1800s, but you're sitting there like, well, hold on, let me get my boomstick out and reload up here. And at this point, this isn't like 1700s warfare where they're marching in rows just waiting to get shot,
So
right?
so I'm glad you said that because I thought
Yeah,
it'd be hilarious if someone could convince an entire lobby of players to play like that. Like
that is some content waiting to be made.
get an entire lobby of 100. Well, it's only like 9 players, right?
12, yeah.
12. Okay, perfect. 6v6. You get all 12 people, meet in the center of the map, like regardless of the enemies that are around. You clear out the enemies so that you have your battlefield, and you line up. 6 people, you know, at one end of town, 6 people on the other, and then you
Right.
you march forward, and when you are 100 paces away, everyone just unloads their muskets.
Right. Hey, is my camera doing okay, by the way? Is it
Yeah,
everything clear?
yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah,
All
crystal.
right, just wanted to make sure. All right. Yeah, so I think that would be cool. The one thing about Hunt Showdown that's really cool is it's got voice proximity chat.
Mhm.
So it's possible, and it has been seen where you will see full squads of like 6-man squads, even though the max squad size is a trio, because people have made alliances in game. And, I think that that would make for some really, really, really good YouTube content if you could capture stuff like that. But the problem is, half the people you run into the games just don't have mics. Even if they do have mics, do they actually want to do that stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like it's really hard. And then you're trying to convince these people to ally with you
Well, you'll run into
while
people
while
sometimes
they're
that you'll
firing their boomstick at you.
yeah, you'll
So
be talking to people sometimes, and they'll have a mic, and they'll be like, "Bro, not trying to talk right now." And I was like, "Well, you could have just left yourself muted. I just shut up eventually."
why do you play an online tactical shooter where your objective is to communicate with your team to kill other players?
Because they
You know what I'm
just want to
saying?
frag. They're just
Yeah. Well,
fraggers.
then they should probably go play Overwatch.
Oh.
Anyway, but been interested in checking out a new game that I believe came out yesterday. Reason I asked about my webcam is because I'm downloading it right now, all 30 gigs of it, but it is a game called Chernobylite.
Ooh. That's
Yeah,
only 30
so
gigs. I can fit that.
I know you and I discussed it a little bit, but it looks very, very interesting. I guess it's a survival horror RPG.
Mm-hmm.
So the best way I can describe what I've seen is it's like you took your standard horror game with, like jump scares occasionally, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you paired that with Fallout and Escape from Tarkov.
Do you think it's
So
as brutal as Escape from Tarkov?
well, I don't know yet. I mean, I think it's got the chief complaint seems to be the AI is kind of not all there. So the AI
Like,
kind of
is it
takes
kind of
away
just
from the realism of the
wonky?
game.
Like, it just kind of makes, like, silly mistakes?
Yeah, yeah, and it's single player. So,
Oh,
you
it's
don't
a
have
single player.
yeah, yeah, so it is single player. I did check into that. It is single player. But, it's very similar to Tarkov and how it feels and how it plays. And it's very similar to Fallout in like the some of the mechanics that's included has been like base building. So you can build up your base, you can salvage materials that you can then bring back to your base to upgrade it with different, features and whatnot. You'll have a roster of people that you will have at your base over time. Those characters are instrumental throughout the game. From what I understand, you can either finish with all of those characters still alive or all of them dead. I don't know how that works, but those characters and whether or not they live or die are based on divergent choices that you make throughout the game, a la like Telltale Games type style, where you have a situation where you've got option A of what you're going to do and then option B.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes you'll have like competing opinions given to you in those situations. So, like, oh, this truck's driving away. Are we going to try to shoot the driver or are we going to let him go? And those options will be given to you mid scene. So, it looks really interesting to me. I'm not sure how it's going to be in actuality, but if you look up the YouTube videos on the development of it, it's really interesting what they did because they did a 3D scan of Pripyat. And what you're seeing in the game is actually,
Like they did a proper scan of Pripyat.
they literally have
The
like
food is
mapped
outside. Can you
out
yank it off the porch?
the actual location and then essentially transported it into the game. So it's about as authentic of an experience as you can get without actually going there.
So they almost took like the Forza approach, where they like went to the actual area that they're basing the game off of,
They
and
did. They did. They took
that's
dozens of trips there. And One of the staff, I forget what her actual function was. I think she was like in the art department or something, but she also doubles as a character in the game. So
Ooh,
they were doing like video capturing of her when it was below freezing, like in a dress or whatever she was wearing in the
that's
shot. Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah. So she was having to like pretend that she's not freezing so badly in 0 degrees Celsius while she's wearing a dress in the middle of, the exclusion zone. So, I mean, they've got a lot of interesting stuff that they're doing. It looks really good to me. I don't, the one thing I worry about is if it'll run on my little GTX 1650, since we still can't get any 3000 series GPUs or 2000 series GPUs for that matter.
I'm
But
I'm sure if you'll probably have to drop. I'm not gonna lie to you. Probably have to drop the settings a smidgen. I mean,
yeah,
even I have a 2080 Ti, and when I'm streaming, because it's a single PC setup, even when I'm streaming, like uh, like Watch Dogs or like Cyberpunk, like I wasn't able to play those games on max settings. Like I had to put them on like medium to get it
right.
to like run smoothly.
Yeah, so I mean, it looks like an interesting game though.
Uh huh.
It also has like it has like mutant type monsters. It has like PMC type soldiers. I'm not really sure like what their relationship is, or like obviously a lot of that's over in the Eastern Bloc type settings. So I don't really know like who the soldiers are affiliated with or if they're private contractors or what. But like if you watched Chernobyl on HBO, did you watch that?
I did. I actually really liked that series.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, skip a minute ahead because it's all it's going to take for me to talk about this. So just FYI. But like that scene where they talk about, like, they show that they have to shoot the dogs
Yeah,
because they're going to
because they
die
care.
anyway. They're spreading radiation everywhere. Right. So they cover a lot of the same material in this game too. So it seems like they're really trying to go for an authentic experience.
So for the setting of the game, is this immediately after the Chernobyl meltdown, or is this a few years after the Chernobyl meltdown, or is this like
Um,
current day and they're trying to clean up the exclusion zone?
I don't. So the storyline is you're trying to track down what happened to your partner. So
Okay, so you have a
I'm
partner
assuming
that's
the main character is a male. The partner is definitely a female. So you're trying to piece together what happened to her in this entire event. And there's a lot of it's got like a sanity bar, so to speak. So similar to a lot of horror games have started including that recently. I think Amnesia might have something like that. Obviously, Phasmophobia and other games rely on
so.
your like amount of time in darkness and whatnot, but like
I'm
you can
assuming
start
the
hallucinating.
well. So what are the so are they just like so? I haven't seen a lot of gameplay, but it looked like they were like almost like Metro style like monsters
Yeah,
in the game.
but
So,
let's pull it up. Let's
okay,
pull it up.
you know what? I might son of a gun. I might already have it pulled up.
Smooth.
Let me actually take this out of full screen so you can. I thought
Now we haven't watched this video at all yet, but I did send this to Sumbro because I knew we would be talking about Chernobylite. So the amount of experience that we've had with this game is minimal, but
I've
I
seen.
know enough.
I
I
saw
know,
the press release for it
yeah,
at E3.
I right. I know enough about it to be dangerous, but I haven't watched it a whole lot. So this video is going to be new to me.
All right, so this is 1080p at 60 frames per second, running on ultra settings on PC. Just so that chat that you can. I'm assuming they're probably running this on like top end hardware. So take that with a grain of salt. We will pause this video intermittently to talk about what's going on screen. Okay, well, he just teleported. uh,
So there's the mutants there. They look pretty interesting. You
I
can
think
kind of
they're in the.
see like the
I think they're in the
go ahead.
tutorial.
Yeah.
I think that's what this might be. It seems Chernobyl
Okay.
host. Oh, they're fast.
You know, it
Oh.
kind of reminds me of the husks from Mass Effect. You remember those?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of get some husk vibes from it. Like, it's not like your traditional zombies. It's just something else.
Yeah, I think it's the tutorial just because of how they're disappearing.
Right. Okay.
Or maybe this is like a hallucination sequence?
I'm guessing that's what it is. I mean, it looks like that's like nuclear fires. I mean, for lack of a better
So is
phrase.
this-
It's probably an ignorant way of saying that, but
No, but like, so is this meant to be like immediately after the meltdown?
I don't know. I don't know.
Like, that man is using fingerless gloves right next to nuclear. That's not... I'm pretty sure that doesn't meet the, like, safety guidelines. Okay, now he's in a shed.
I mean, I really like the direction that I'm seeing in this game so far. I mean, obviously this is taken out of context for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just
But-
dropped into the middle of this. Well, not quite in the middle, but we just
Yeah.
dropped into the video.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want to... You know, if there's early stuff, we don't want to be spoiled. We're both considering playing this game. Well, I'm pretty sure Wrath 100%. Well, I think both of us are going to play this game at this point. I think that's happening.
We could do this for a let's play.
It'd be really fun.
Пожалуйста, поспеши. Неужели ты не видишь, что эта реальность разваливается на части?
So this is one of the features I really like about this game is all the customization options. From what I've seen, you know, you have just as much customization options for your guns in this game as you would see on like Forza or Burnout or whatever racing games you play for your vehicles. Like you can really, really tweak your guns.
Надо возвращаться к работе. Это единственный способ выбраться отсюда.
Real Metro vibes.
You know, I never played Metro, but I mean,
It's-
it did.
it is
It
a
did always
wonderful
have a vibe
franchise.
with it. It did always have a vibe with it. That's you know, there's a lot of games that I haven't got the chance to play, but I can appreciate the fact that they're just so artistic with what they've done. What are we looking
That's-
at here? I'm not getting any audio, so I'm just seeing stuff.
Oh, can you not hear the audio?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Don't mess with it. I don't want to mess anything up. You're fine.
So he's just made like an electro gun, I believe.
Okay.
Like he found basically the diagram for it. It looked like, and then on his workbench he had gathered the materials and then
Okay.
assembled them. So that's probably a mechanic where you go through and you find a blueprint, and then as you're playing through, you'll find the materials, and they probably have the blueprint and the materials in the same areas.
А ты правда веришь,
Right.
что они тут тестируют свою рекультивацию чего-то там?
По-моему, там нет никаких испытаний. Что-то явно происходит. Точно тебе говорю.
One thing I
Слишком
do
много
know about
наемников
this game
на
is it
такой
does have a
большой
way that
территории.
you can go back and
Ну,
alter
с
your
наемниками
choices,
мы разберемся.
which
Там
is really
поди
interesting.
сброд, который
Like you can
вообще
rewind time, like a la Prince of Persia.
Я с этими парнями
Yeah,
плечом к плечу
not
воевал.
exactly like that, but yeah, like
Так что нас
there's
втянул
a
Игорь?
there's like an Aether type
не люблю я закрытые
place where you can go and there's a long pathway and you can see like the symbolic representations of all your decisions and then you can change your memories
Ooh.
to alter the course, and then if you change that it will have a butterfly effect on other events further down the timeline.
That's cool. So the graphics for this look phenomenal.
Миша! Миша, ничего не выходит! Нужно отступать быстрее! Давление падает! Спускаемся! Скорее! Бегом, бегом!
So I think this is immediately following.
Игорь, пора.
I think this is immediately following
Ох, канализация!
Chernobyl's meltdown.
That's horrifying.
Это просто
That's
бред.
horrifying.
Like
If
I
it-
think just now the characters saw into the future.
Кстати, как тут дела с
Right.
радиацией?
That's, you know what I mean? Because the building looks pretty whole right now.
Слушай, не
I mean, the
Убивайся,
lights
Revolver.
are on, right?
Нам нужно сделать дело и уйти отсюда живыми. Сосредоточимся на этом. Игорь, если
I mean,
начнется
I'm
еще
literally
одна
seeing like
высотность, мы совсем
the little
разберемся,
service
ладно?
tower lights in the
Ты
background. I'm
геройский.
seeing the lights on the
Без
building.
спорта,
So this has
делай.
got to be before the
Где ты
meltdown.
видишь героя? Здесь только отчаявшиеся люди, идущие в самое сердце тьмы.
They're talking like the meltdown may have
Хватит
already
разговоров.
happened.
Вперед!
После вас,
Yeah.
Игорь. Дамы, умники, вперед!
They're already suited up and wearing their gas
Ты
masks
шутник,
too.
да?
One thing I don't like about this game that is a big negative for me is that like the dialogue
Игорь,
at the bottom
ложись.
feels cheesy.
Беги ко входу
It
в
feels like they
канализацию,
slapped
мы
like
за
a
тобой.
Final Fantasy 3 like menu
a-
style on a first person shooter in 2021.
So it looks like it might be a little heavy on the stealth gameplay.
My name
Yeah, I think it's up to you how you play it, but
and these maniacs.
from what I understand, you'll have a lot of situations where it impacts your mental health if you kill people. And the more your mental health is lowered, the more you're going to experience hallucinations, etc.,
Вы
and
это
potentially
слышали?
die.
Голоса.
Вот это вообще не тот вопрос,
It looks
который сейчас
abandoned
в
here.
тему, Игорь.
Like this definitely
Ты
looks
как,
like it's
в норме?
almost in a state of
Не делай
disrepair.
этого, любимый.
Черт,
Mm,
черт. Я не могу.
well,
Не могу
I
нажать
guess we'll
эту
just have to
кнопку.
play it to find
Ну,
out.
как хочешь.
Which I'm okay with, you know what I mean? The
Убегаем.
fact that we really don't know what's going on.
Yeah, so if you're watching this video and you think you would enjoy a let's play of this, put that in the comments, please, so we know. We don't want to play this if you guys aren't interested in watching it, but it looks really interesting to me, and I know it does to Sumbro as well. So I think this could be a candidate for our next let's play, whenever that is. So if this seems like something you'd want to watch, definitely let us know.
He's got his taser gun out. Oh, and so they have like they have a radiation meter your character
Auto
carries
post him.
around. Okay, so the meltdown 100% has happened.
Почему ты просто не
Yeah.
нажал на эту чертову кнопку?
Времени мало.
Although,
беги.
like if that's supposed to be the elephant's foot,
Антон, пожалуйста. Ты меня нервируешь.
like him touching that,
Даже холоднее, чем я помню.
shouldn't
I mean,
his
what-
insides be microwaved?
What's wrong with him grabbing a piece of graphite?
That
Off
is
a-
Легенду
Chernobylite.
древнейшая, но для начала исследований мне этого хватило.
Может, расскажешь, как работает
also-
эта
So
твоя...
is,
Thing-
that, is that why they call it Chernobylite? Is that the
Проход
idea?
сквозь
Probably, but
пространство и
he's
время.
also
Like,
wearing
there's new
fingerless gloves.
Сосредоточен. Прокладывает
This
Yeah, why
man
not?
is
с двумя выходами и использует редкий вид энергии, чтобы держать его открытым.
Редкий вид.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Он самый.
That man's gonna wake up tomorrow with no neck and like an extra head coming out of like the back of his knee.
Туда, куда надо. Давай на этом пока и остановимся, ладно?
Что?
Моя невеста. Она исчезла здесь.
This,
во время
this,
катастрофы
like a
30
little
лет
bit too
назад.
gives me like some Half-Life vibes too.
Антон,
Yep.
обещаю
Did you ever play Half-Life?
No, I've not played because I didn't when Half-Life was really like popping, I didn't really have like a gaming PC or anything like that. I played everything on console.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh? There's definitely some weird like
Это
sci-fi
место
stuff
раньше
going
было
on.
совсем другим.
Yeah, for sure.
Оно как змея, которая раз за разом сбрасывает кожу.
Well,
Тебе
anyway,
придется
I think
снова
that's enough
изучить
of that
его.
if you're good with it.
Прочувствовать.
So
Shout out to Gabehype for letting us yoink his video.
yep, thank you, Gabehype. So another game based in Mother Russia that we wanted to talk about was actually Escape from Tarkov.
Is it actually based in Russia or is it inspired by Russia? I'm not
I
really
think it's
sure.
inspired. I have no idea.
Hold on,
I
you know what?
guess-
Hold on. I've got it right here. Escape from Tarkov is set in the fictional city of Tarkov, the capital of the Norvinsk Special Economic Zone in northwestern Russia, between the years 2015 and 2026. Political scandals and collapse of corporations have resulted in the social breakdown of Tarkov, and warring factions have turned the city into a shell of itself, with sections of the city being under control of aggressive locals called scabs.
Okay. So when you're playing that game, and I guess you're like doing a scav run, you're playing as a local scavenging supplies. But there's two different types of player. There's scavengers, and then I forget what the other one was called.
PMCs.
PMCs. What is a
Yeah.
PMC?
So there are two PMC factions for players to choose in the game. You've got the USEC, which is a Western-based company hired by a corporation known as Terror Group to cover up the company's illegal activities, and Bear, a company created by the Russian government to investigate these activities.
So private
Each
military contractors.
Yes, each faction has its own gameplay advantages as well as unique
Pause.
cosmetics.
Okay, we're back. I'll have to
Everything
edit. Yeah, I'll have to edit that out. 35 minutes. Okay.
Okay, so let me reread that then, and then you can just cut.
No,
wherever.
you're fine. I mean, it was at the very tail end of you reading that. So they're private military contractors.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, and the primary opposing playable NPC faction is the Scavs, which are aggressive locals of Tarkov that are hostile to both Bear and USEC.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, it's I've wanted to play Tarkov for a while, but I'm a little bit concerned because I usually don't play games unless I can stream them, and I'm pretty sure that I would struggle to not only play Tarkov but certainly stream it as well. But that hasn't
With the
stopped.
difficulty, or for your rig to actually run it?
For the rig to actually run it, but the really like the reason I wanted to bring up Tarkov is because YouTube has just been feeding me nothing but Tarkov videos. So
Really?
yeah, it must be because I enjoyed watching them one or two times. They just think I want to watch them all day. But there's a lot of videos going on YouTube right now of like what it's like to play Escape from Tarkov, and then it'll just be a player like wandering through, a town, and then they'll just get
Falls
shot.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I've
or-
definitely seen some clips like that where like you'll see a squad of people like because you can run up to 4 people deep in that
Right.
game, and I've definitely like I was watching Dr. Lupo play with a few of the people he normally plays with, and one of his buddy like they're walking, they're like, oh well, let's go check out over the ridgeline, and his buddy just drops, like you hear a single gunshot and his buddy literally dead, gone,
Right.
and
Did you
go ahead.
I was going to ask, did you see that video of Dr. Lupo in like it seemed like he was in like a hangar or something like that. He was in something that you would see in Tarkov, like a structure you would see in Tarkov. They just had him in this warehouse hangar, whatever it was, with his desk like just in the middle of nowhere. They're like popping flashbangs behind him and marching behind him and all sorts of like Tarkov-esque type stuff. Did you see that? I saw it on Twitter.
So I've seen a little bit of it. I have it pulled up here on Twitch as far as the VOD. We can see a little bit of that. But it was some sort of special Intel event where Intel like brought him out and like had him play Escape from Tarkov while they messed with him in the background. Like they were throwing flashbangs at him. They had a marching band come through at one point and like distract him just playing loudly in the background.
There's another guy out there, I think.
But so Escape from Tarkov is such a tense game because like it's not something you get a lot of second chances in, and like
That's M4 towards
like right now he's looting, and also when you loot a player, you don't just get to click them and have everything they have on them show up immediately, right? Like you actually have to search through them. You have to search through their packs to see what they have. And it's got to be stressful to play a game that like you have to wait for a menu to open because you're searching, because in real life you wouldn't just go to someone's body and see their entire inventory, right? You'd have to check the pockets on their vest. You'd have to check their backpack. And so they simulate the time that you're going to spend doing that by like actually making you search.
Yeah, I mean, because in some ways too, it's similar to like Diablo, and how the inventory works with like the clicking and dragging items off of a grid type situation. Yeah, I mean it's
So
looks like a really intense game. I want to play it so bad. I just don't think I could run it. But like Hunt Showdown reminds me of this game a lot, and that's another reason why this is on my mind, is because I think Hunt Showdown and this game share a lot of similarities in how the game feels and like how satisfying it must feel when you finally shoot another player.
Well, they lean so hard into like the realism. Like when you have your magazines, right? Like you go into a game and you have to prepare. Like here he has a magazine in his gun, and he had 2 magazines in reserve, right? But one of those magazines in reserve he had used, like he had shot bullets from them, right? So he had to drag bullets, loose bullets from his inventory and reload them into that mag so that it's ready when he needs to swap it out.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty intense. You know, between that actual weapon jamming mechanics, is this where they throw the flashbangs?
No, so I have a clip of that. Let me pull that up. So this is the clip, clipped by King Val on Dr. Lupo's live stream.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's right above me.
No,
They're on 2nd floor.
I think something just went off behind me in real life.
Oh, in real life?
Holy shit! Yeah.
There's a flashbang going off.
That was really bright.
That's just nuts that they just literally they got this guy, this poor guy streaming in a warehouse. Or he's got to feel exposed, right? And then they just straight up throw flashbangs behind him.
It's got to be so much different than playing
Blue cargo shorts?
in the game. Like you're playing in the comfort of your home, right? Is one thing, but they have him in some like dusty warehouse where the devs are like going out of their ways to prank him.
Right.
And it's nice to see them have him home with it and try to like promote the game a little bit. Because I think one of the things that might potentially hinder Tarkov is the that hardcore element might be something that might turn players away from it. Like some players might go like, I don't know if I'm hardcore enough for that, and they might stick away from it. But seeing Intel like they had a whole event for it, right?
I gotta go look at this real quick.
As far as like difficulty level, I think Tarkov is just about as hard as it possibly gets on an FPS. You know, where Dark Souls franchise kind of sets the bar for difficulty. You know, I don't know if you've seen on Steam, but there's a filter where you can literally look up Souls-like, and it's got games categorized by, you know, if they're difficult like Dark Souls, that's a genre now. But, you know, it's really just, from what I've seen, it's such a difficult game and so very, very frustrating. But when you get good at it, and Dr. Lupo is pretty good at it, I think it just feels incredibly satisfying after you've died 10 times in a row and you finally get that kill.
Have you watched him play?
Oh my gosh.
A little bit. Mostly highlights.
His eyes, like he will see someone off in the distance that like, and I don't know if it's because we're like watching a stream and he's like at his computer monitor, but he has made some shots where I straight up did not see where the person was.
Well, for starters, I guarantee you he has a 3090 in there.
That's fair.
He has a 3090 in his gaming PC and probably a 3090 in his streaming PC.
That's fair.
So, yeah, I mean, that's why. And this dude is probably 60 FPS, 8K gaming.
We're gonna own this place.
So I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm sure he could see. You might not be, you know, Twitch. You can't stream in 4K or above in Twitch, but I guarantee you that dude is at least seeing in 4K, if not higher.
Well, I don't think maybe, but like typically, I think if you're streaming, whatever you're streaming has to be in the same resolution that you're playing at. He's probably playing at 1440.
Not necessarily.
Because a capture card can't display one thing and capture another thing.
Yeah, but if you're changing your canvas size, like you can capture it in full quality, but if you lower your canvas size, you can like
dude, love it.
Subsample it down.
Yeah. I think that's how it works. I could be completely making that up. So
neither of us know.
Yeah.
Good job, okay?
So it's such a you have to play.
I'm trying. I swear. We're getting out of this raid right now.
Focus.
I'm attempting to.
Okay.
Do you want the Tarkola? Do you need a drink?
Okay, let me have the.
Who is that next to him?
Yeah, hold on.
I think it's one of the I think it's just either an actor or one of the developers.
I want red cola. It's better. Okay.
Lupo does such a good Russian accent too. He's really good at it.
Oh man.
So I think the
He said
the
he likes it.
the
chunky.
gib or like the
So-
bit is that he has been kidnapped by Russian insurgents, and they're forcing him to play like Escape from Tarkov in this warehouse.
Focus. He said focus.
Like
See-
they would have to force him to play that.
He, like the guy was talking to him like he's holding him hostage.
Apparently.
That's so funny.
He's like, hurry it up, and he's like, oh no, I'm getting out. I'm getting out right now.
Cool. You have a good day.
So I don't know if you know about this, but you know, like years ago, Tarkov got in some hot water. Did you ever hear about the controversies they had going on with that?
So I had heard about like, and this is like when the game like first released. Tarkov got into a little bit of hot water, based around the decision not to put female character models in the game, and like one of the developers said some stuff that pretty easily could be described as sexist at best and like straight up misogynistic at worst. Like just like really like not a great look. And then, as I understand it, the developer basically came back and said, look, we don't condone what he said, but also, like, no. Is that about
Yeah.
the...
Yeah, so I've got it pulled up here. So there's two controversies listed on Wikipedia. So they were using the DMCA system to remove negative videos of Escape from Tarkov. There were at least a couple YouTubers that ran into some DMCA claims and lost income because of the situation.
Now, when you say negative, negative,
Yeah.
do you mean
Mhm.
like a YouTuber came out and said, like, hey, the game has this problem going on and they're trying to report the issues that the game was having, or...
So all it says on Wikipedia is allegedly spreading false information and spreading negative hype. So,
Okay.
I mean, which, you know, game developers are within their right to use DMCA. Most of the time they don't. That's the whole reason that Twitch even exists, because, you know, you hear about DMCA a lot on Twitch, but, you know, video games played on Twitch are essentially viewed as free advertising, whereas music is not seen that way. So it's kind of rare to see DMCA used like this, but that's what they did. They also got banned from Twitch after an employee pointed an empty gun at his head and pulled the trigger while streaming on the website.
That's aggressive.
But the one thing that comes to mind with everything that's been going on lately, in a 2016 interview, one of the game's developers stated that there would be no women or playable female characters in the game because women can't handle that amount of stress. This is a quote, by the way. Women can't handle that amount of stress. There's only place for hardened men in this place. After apologizing for the previous comments, Battlestate Games clarified their position in 2020, stating that while the employees' comments did not reflect the company's position or opinion as a whole, there would be no playable female characters due to game lore and, more importantly, the huge amount of work needed with ammunition or animations, gear fitting, etc. Battlestate
Now-
Games also stated that an employee would be reprimanded for his comments. Go ahead.
I mean, maybe the gear fitting, because like the pack armor, but I can't imagine.
But so let's talk about this. Let's
How
look
much
at the
different?
timeline.
How much different does, like, if you took a picture of like a U.S. soldier in full combat gear, how much different is that soldier going to look to a female like a male soldier to a female soldier?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think considering the amount of work visually that went into Tarkov, because Tarkov is probably one of the most demanding FPSs out there, if I had to guess, with how much of a focus they put on realism. Just literally making a different gender is like, you know, nothing compared to the amount of work that they've already done.
Yeah.
It's not even comparable.
Well, it's the same. It's
Oh.
the same animation frame. Like
Yeah.
they don't
Yeah.
need to make a whole new rig, and I'm not a game developer, right? So let me say that.
Well-
But like, the characters run on what's called a rig, which is a skeleton that they put a skin onto, and the skin is your character model.
Yeah, but I mean, even like beyond that, you just have to think about, you know, like just look at the timeline here. So we're looking at this interview was in 2016. So you're telling me this company doesn't have a media relations department, like somebody that's monitoring what's being said in public interviews? they didn't address this until 4 years later.
That's a
So
long
this
time to bury
went
your head in the
on. Not
sand.
only did it, yeah, not only did it go on, but you know that they were aware of what was said, and like they obviously just gave it a pass. Whether they felt that way or not as a company, I don't know. But then to not only have that happen in 2016, then continually just sweep that under the rug, finally address it in 2020, and still just be like, yeah, I mean, we don't agree with what he said, but we're also not changing the direction of the game that we're clearly going in. So sorry, but we are going to give this person the slap on the wrist for what he did. You know, like it
Now,
just seems,
does that person still work there?
I mean, it's say reprimanded for his comments. I don't know what that means. I mean, does that mean that they,
Reprimanded could be full termination. Reprimanded could be like, hey, Billy, don't talk to reporters anymore.
yeah, I mean, for all we know, reprimanding could look like, you know, hey, Billy Bob, listen, we totally agree with what you said, but you can't really say that. So just ixnay on the lady A. You know what I mean? They could say some stuff like that. I mean, like, what does reprimand mean? I don't know. But this was on my mind because, you know, basically my thought process went from how much I wanted to play Tarkov to then remembering with everything that's going on right now with Blizzard that this controversy existed. And then, you know, like I feel kind of guilty for wanting to play the game because I feel like, you know, this company, although I can't really necessarily compare it exactly to the situation that's going on in Activision Blizzard right now. When is everyone going to move into the year 2021 and know that this sort of stuff is just not acceptable to think or feel anymore?
Well, I
Does that
think
make sense?
it does, but I think part of that, and I say this as a male content creator and a male in the gaming space,
Yeah.
but we need to do a better job of policing our friends, and that's part of it, right? Is like when you hear someone that you, even if you game with them every day, if you hear someone say something out of pocket, say something. Because if you don't tell someone that's unacceptable, right? And they and in their mind everything's hunky dory, that behavior is going to continue, and allowing that to happen is where we wind up in situations where, like, this gentleman from Escape from Tarkov had the gall to say that comment. Like, there are plenty of combat veterans that are women that would be happy to say, I'm pretty sure I can handle the stress of that environment. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's
I
just
do.
not there. That seems so out of touch to me to say, like, women can't handle this kind of environment. Women have been serving in the military for years, like active duty. But it speaking to the broader discussion with, like, Blizzard, it's hard, right? Because you don't want to support that behavior. You definitely don't want to support a company when, like, that's that company's morals, right? But at the same time, like, Bobby Kotick and Activision shareholders are not the people that are going to hurt when you long-term boycott those kinds of games. It's the developers. Like, it's the people that make the games that, like, maybe they don't get their bonus for, like, game metrics because of, like, and I'm concerned for the folks that made, like, Diablo 4 and Diablo Remastered. I was so excited to play those. But now, like, I, as a consumer, I have to speak with my wallet. That's how you get a hold of these companies. That's how you make them take a look at what they're doing, and if you don't agree with what they're doing, that's how you speak out against it. So, but I don't know what's gonna go on now. I don't know if I'm gonna end up playing the new Diablo or Diablo 2 Remastered. I know I want to, but I also don't want to support that kind of work environment. Like, for me to get those games, I would want to see really massive change come from Blizzard, and I'd want to see them come forward and say, look, this is unconscionable. We're going to own this, and these are the steps we are directly taking moving forward, and nothing short of the people higher up in that company that are allowing that behavior, of them resigning or being resigned, is acceptable, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of a weird situation because, like, I think that probably in our lives, in our past, like we've done things where we come back later on in life and we say, wow, like that was really wrong. What I said was wrong. What I did was wrong. I've learned from that, and it's just so hard to tell in situations like this if these people have really learned what the lesson to be had here is, or if they're just trying to get their name off of, the bad list long enough to be forgotten about. So, part of me wants to put them in a situation where like they can learn that these things are wrong, that they can be better people, that, etc. So their life doesn't have to be over. But think about the career that these people are going to have after this, right?
Well, I
Let's say
think
they resign.
for the accused and for the people
Mhm.
that were
Yeah.
complicit,
Yeah.
they don't. That's the cost. I'm
Right.
sorry, but like that's the price for allowing that kind of culture and like that kind of fear mongering in the workplace. And I don't think there's another word for it, right? Like, and not to get graphic, chat, but like Wrath, picture if you went to work tomorrow where you work for your 9 to 5, okay, and you heard that there were people taking bets on how long it would take them to sleep with you, and then like
Right.
passing around, intimate pictures of you for everyone to see at work, and you just have to exist in that environment.
Oh, it wouldn't happen. Like I would just not be there. But my I guess the point I'm trying to make is I'm not trying to sympathize with those people by any means. Like undoubtedly at the end of this, they're going to learn their lesson. Whether they change or not, whether they legitimately change or they just try to hide that behavior better, I don't know. But my question is like, what's next for these people? Because they're probably going to have to resign. They can try to weather the storm and just hope everyone forgets about it, but they're probably going to have to resign. And when they do resign, they're basically not going to be hireable anywhere. You know what I mean?
So, based on my previous experiences, they're going to have to go for a career change. I don't think
Yeah.
any of the upper level people that are involved in this, like once everything comes out and once everything has come to a resolution, and we have A, B, C, D, and E players, please note, I don't know how many of the upper management at Blizzard Activision are involved in this or complicit in this. I don't know. But let's say A through E are found to have been complicit and like allowing this behavior to go on.
Mhm.
They're certainly not creating anymore. Maybe they find a tech job with another company. I certainly I don't want to see anyone destitute, but that behavior doesn't have a place like in today's society in general, but especially in gaming. Like, no one should ever have to live their day-to-day life to come to work and be worried about being harassed or be worried about someone coming at them in that way, right? And
Yeah, I so my question is like when someone gets canceled, because this is basically what's happening at this point. Whether, the listeners agree with that phrase and the connotations of it or not. That's basically what's happening is the internet is rejecting these people based on this information that's come out. Like, what do they do next? Like, have you heard of what people end up doing next? Like, a lot of content creators have been canceled over the years. You've got people like Jenna Marbles, that was a famous content creator that did an impression of Nicki Minaj in blackface, and then 7 or 8 years later got canceled because of it. But like, what do these people do when these careers that these like illustrious careers that they built for themselves just come to an end?
well, they make a decision and move on to something else. Like, and I know that sounds harsh, but like that is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering though. I mean, you're talking about people that are like right now daily in the face of public perception, and then they just disappear and go off and do whatever. I just wonder what they do. Like, I wonder, what situation they place them in after that to, make sure that they could continue to sustain themselves.
Do you think Bobby Kotick at the top of the like Activision had 11 points drop on its stock share price yesterday. Do you think Bobby Kotick will be able to weather this storm, or do you think this situation might ultimately lead the shareholders to resign him?
Well, I'll say this. You and I both know that people in positions like that are points of accountability. So when it comes to chief executive officer, that's as high as it gets on accountability. So if you have a company-wide scandal, which it sounds like they do, then regardless of whether he was complicit in the situation or guilty of anything, at the very least, we're talking guilty of negligence. And corporations, especially public companies, you're looking at a lot of shareholder wealth that's getting impacted. So, do I think the shareholders hold him accountable? Absolutely. I think they get that guy right out of there next chance they get.
I mean, so the other, and I've been trying to figure out how to word this. So I was listening to a podcast that I really like listening to weekly, and if you like this podcast, I really recommend you check out the Real Gamer Hour. It has MTashed, Rick Kakis, and True Vanguard, and they started out as Destiny content creators, but that's not what that podcast is about. It's just a gaming news podcast where they kind of, give you their takes. And True Vanguard said it really well, and he was talking about, as a consumer, you really want to boycott. Like, I canceled my WoW subscription, and I uninstalled it from my PC the other day. I'm not going to pay for that subscription again. But with Diablo 2 Remastered and Diablo 4, they're developers that worked really hard on that game. And because of all this going on, right, if that game flops, those developers might be stuck at Activision Blizzard. Like, if a developer wanted to move to another studio, the success of a developer is based on their resume, the games they released, and how well that game did. You know what I mean? And so I don't know how much leniency the developers from those games are going to get when it comes to the sales data and how that pans out. No, I think they will still sell. We're kidding ourselves if we say no one is going to buy that. But I also feel like sales will be less than they would have had this not come to light. Which is not to say this shouldn't have come to light. This definitely should have come to light. This needs to be addressed.
So, do you think that there's going to be a large group of people that are not guilty of these behaviors that are going to be negatively impacted by this? Just because do you think that when it comes time, some of these people
Yes.
may be making decisions to no longer be with Blizzard or Activision, but do you think it's going to be an issue for them to try to go to other publishers or
Yes.
developers?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So like when you think about it from the top-down corporate perspective, no other company knows truly how Blizzard works internally. All we see are press releases and news reports and stories that come out based around the culture of that workplace. So if you were hiring, say you're a game studio head and you're hiring talent from across, the field to make your new game, are you taking the risk of bringing on someone from Activision Blizzard to your studio?
Did you see the Bill Cosby room?
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine
So
that photo was taken in what, 2016?
That photo was taken in 2013 or 2014.
So it was in the 2010s.
It was before, but
Okay.
It was before the actual accusations and stuff came out against Bill Cosby. It was more when Bill Cosby, there were rumors, nothing was confirmed.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not.
Rumors have been going on forever.
I am not admonishing that behavior. I'm just saying that before there was incarceration of Bill Cosby, that's when that happened.
Okay. Yeah. Right. I understand what you're saying, but let's go back to this, right? So there was a photo of all these dudes holding up a portrait of Bill Cosby. So I'm going to ask you now, Sunbro, what you think about this. Why are these men idolizing Bill Cosby in this hotel room? Because I can tell you it's not because of the Cosby Show.
No, it's definitely the rumors and connotations that Bill Cosby has with date
Yeah.
rape, drugs, and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And like
Did you see
you're,
they released them, by the way?
yeah, yeah, wild.
Yeah, we won't get into that, but yeah.
But so like at that same, so that was at some sort of conference. It was at like E3 or something that hotel picture happened.
BlizzCon probably, right?
Maybe. But like that's got to be one of the most, like, I can't imagine, like, I don't understand the perception of how these guys are just having a party, right? And like seeing who can like score the most chicks. Like I don't because for them, like the equivalent for retail would be Black Friday. Like Blizzard's BlizzCon is the equivalent of like Black Friday at a big box retailer. Like that is your massive time of the year. That's when like folks are going to be trying to network, and like I don't understand how, like, I mean, does that speak to the quality of Blizzard games over the last couple of years? Like, is that what's happened to the quality? Like, people just don't care anymore, and they're just at a famous studio so they can have a piece of that, like, golden ticket?
I mean, I think they've been producing trash for a long time now. I think the last good game that they came out with,
Overwatch.
definitely not Overwatch.
I'm not capping. The last good game they made was Overwatch.
No. Oh, okay. We'll agree to disagree on that.
What were you gonna say? Was what you were gonna say post or pre Overwatch?
I mean, I gotta tell you, man, I don't think Blizzard has made a really good game since. And we got to talk context here, okay? I think World of Warcraft was the last good game they made. I think World of Warcraft is trash now. It's not because of the anything they've done to the game itself. I just think that it's at this point it's nothing
It's
but
dated.
it's dated. For its time, World of Warcraft was amazing. Like they did such a good job, even though it was like intentionally like cartoonized. The art style was made so that even if you didn't have a really high end PC, you could still run that game. It would still look good.
Bro,
It would look
I can run WoW on my laptop. My laptop
Mhm,
doesn't have a
yeah.
graphics card.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that's the last good game they made. And, I don't think anything else that they've done since then has really been worth mentioning.
So, Diablo 3 released in shambles, and they came back to it, and they made it a lot better. But Diablo 3, as a Diablo game, even with the fixes that they did, is, I would say, still bottom of the totem pole for that series. And then, like, Blizzard tried remaking Warcraft, and they had a bunch of promises about remastered cutscenes, remastered graphics. They dropped a high-definition skin on the game and released it.
Mm-hmm.
And then made the game worse by not allowing people to have some of the fan-favorite custom game modes that people had in the original Warcraft. Because of copyright issues.
Yeah, it was kind of a similar situation with the new Mass Effect release. I mean, we talked a lot of I talked that release up so much when that came out. Who made Mass Effect? I forget. Was it Ubisoft?
No, it's
I forget who made it.
It's an EA game.
Yeah. So I'm
It's
pretty sure
published
that's
by
exactly
EA.
what they did with the Mass Effect re-release, because I played 1 and 2 and they did not look good.
Yeah.
They put an overlay over that whole game and that was all they did.
So,
But
without us having to circle back a ton, I've
Yeah.
got two articles here that I want to pull up.
yeah.
So the first is it's from Kotaku. Twitch streamers and dev help Activision Blizzard walkouts with boycotts and money. So, as employees at Activision Blizzard prepare for today's walkout with equality, streamers, developers, and gamers from around the world are showing their support through charitable donations, game boycotts, and signal boosting the event. While not everyone can attend the Activision Blizzard Walkout for Equality, there are other ways to show support for the employees of the company as they demand improved working conditions for women and other marginalized groups in the wake of their employer's inadequate response to California's sexual harassment and discrimination lawsuit. So, and this is what I'm talking about earlier. Clearly, most of your boots on the ground developers are not okay with this behavior. Clearly. An article came out the other day that any sort of development on World of Warcraft has stopped. They are not developing anything for World of Warcraft right now. Which for Blizzard, that's like Call of Duty not working on Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like, they're straight up not working. Like, confirmed report, developers have said nothing is happening with the game. No patches, no updates. Literally no one is working on it right now. And this comes in pretty stark contrast, and so they're talking about the inadequate response to California's sexual harassment discrimination lawsuit. There was a press release that came out that essentially said, look, all of that stuff happened a long time ago, and it's also fabricated. Like, that's Blizzard's official stance, is they're saying, that's not true, or, like, things are embellished. There is a direct quote in this release from Bobby Kotick to all Blizzard Activision employees. The source for this is from Jason Schreier of Bloomberg News. And this is addressed July 27th, 2021. This has been a difficult and upsetting week. I want to recognize and thank all of those who have come forward in the past and recent days. I so appreciate your courage. Every voice matters, and we will do a better job of listening now and in the future. Our initial response to the issue we faced together and to your concerns were, quite frankly, tone deaf. It is imperative that we acknowledge all perspectives and experiences, and respect the feelings of those who have been mistreated in any way. I am sorry that we did not provide the right empathy and understanding. Many of you have told us that active outreach comes from caring so deeply for the company, that so many people have reached out and shared thoughts, suggestions, and highlighted opportunities for improvement is a personal and powerful reflection of how you care for our communities of colleagues and players and for each other. Ensuring that we have a safe and welcoming work environment is my highest priority. The leadership team has heard you loud and clear. We are taking swift action to be a compassionate, caring company that you came to work for and to ensure a safe environment. There is no place anywhere at our company for discrimination, harassment, or unequal treatment of any kind. We will do everything possible to make sure that together we improve and build the kind of inclusive workplace that is essential to foster creativity and inspiration. I have asked the law firm from Wilmer Hale to conduct a review of our policies and procedures to ensure that we have and maintain the best practices to promote a respectful and inclusive workplace. This will begin immediately. The Wilmer Hale team will be led by Stephanie Avakian, who is a member of the management team at Wilmer Hale and most recently the director of the United States Securities and Exchange Commission's Division of Enforcement. We encourage anyone with experience you believe violates our policies or made you in any way uncomfortable to report it, and they have a link and a number. Your outreach will be kept confidential, of course. No retaliation will be tolerated. And then they have some action points that they're going to be taking moving forward. Firstly, employee support. We will continue to investigate each and every claim and will not hesitate to take decisive action to strengthen our capabilities in this area that we're adding additional senior staff and other resources to both compliance team and employee relations team. Listening sessions. So they're going to be breaking out the talking step. Personnel changes. We are immediately evaluating managers and leaders across the company. Anyone found to have impeded the integrity of our processes for evaluating claims and imposing appropriate consequences will be terminated. Hiring practices. Make sure that they're encouraging employee diversity and in-game changes. We have heard the input from employees and player communities that some of our in-game content is inappropriate. We are removing that content. And so that refers, I think, to some of the NPCs in World of Warcraft that relate to some of these developers that have been spoken about. Now,
So
that sounds like a lot of I'm gonna speak freely. That sounds like a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, of course. They're just some PR damage control at this point. It's to me, I'm sure that there's like that sinking, shadowy feeling of regret in all of their minds right now. But I don't think that any one of them, if they had the chance to go back in time, I'm not sure that they would change what they did. Maybe, but not for the right reasons. It would just be to avoid this show that's currently, circus show that's in the news right now. But I need you to look up something on Twitter. I think this is the last thing I think we should show, and then we probably wrap it up. I don't know if you've seen this video already, but look this up on
Are you
Twitter.
DMing it to me?
No, because
Okay.
I don't want to mess up all the stuff. Just look up on Twitter. Look up Chris Bratt. It's like Chris Pratt, but with a B as in Bravo. And you should see a video right at the top. This tweet leads off with, "Oh God, I've not seen this before, and it's heartbreaking."
I do not think I found the right one.
It's at Chris CHRIS Bratt BRATT.
Okay.
Found it?
Yep.
Yeah, pull that up because I watched this the other day and this was just like absolutely sickening to see. And I feel so sorry that this lady had to deal with this. But if it wasn't obvious what the culture was like, this is a video from 2010 BlizzCon.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up.
I love the fact that you have a lot of very strong female characters. However, I was wondering if we could have some that don't look like they've stepped out of a Victoria's Secrets catalog.
What do you mean?
They just laugh it off.
Wait. Which catalog would you like them to step out of?
Yeah, that's like this poor woman. Think about how many people she's standing in front of to make that point.
Right. So we feel you, and we want to vary our female characters absolutely. So yeah, we'll pick different catalogs.
So
Wow.
I think that says enough. That says where their company culture and their company headspace was at. And it's unacceptable, right? So like I said earlier, if you know someone or you hear someone that would respond in that way to that, say something to them. Because it's not right. That young lady had to stand up in front of thousands of people to bring up an issue that was meaningful to her. And now, I don't have that perspective. Like as a woman in gaming, right? I don't have that perspective. But if she got up there in front of all those thousands of people and said that to that board and that panel, I can't imagine that there aren't more women who feel that same way. Right? Like, oh, I wish the armor wasn't so like sexual. And that's not something that's specific to Blizzard. There are a lot of games. That is a common trope. But does it need to be that way?
All right. Well, I think that's probably going to do it for, is this LDP 14?
This is number 14.
Number 14, the big 1-4. That's going to be it. So let us know what you think about, the various topics we covered. We talked about Hunt Showdown, Final Fantasy 14, new game Chernobylite, which I'll probably be checking out here shortly, possibly a Let's Play. So let us know if that's something you're interested in. Escape from Tarkov, talked about that a little bit, as well as everything that's going on with Activision Blizzard. Let us know what you think. If you have a different take, definitely pass that on to us in the comments. We'd be happy to bring it up in the next show. But appreciate everyone for checking us out. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. And I'm joined by Total Sunbro on my left. And thank you, everyone, for watching.
We are closing this video out in like the next 10 seconds. But let me know down in the comments below. How do you think we can do better? What do you think that we can change as people who play games and consume content? What can we do better? Let us know. Take care, guys. Be safe.